Let's now dive into our featured story of the day and discuss this bullish prediction coming from the third largest asset manager in the world, which is Fidelity. They made this prediction that Bitcoin is likely to reach $1 billion per coin. But I'm going to break down the timeline and all of this information. Here's the headline. Can Bitcoin achieve Fidelity's $1 billion prediction by 2038? What's your thoughts, fam? Let me know. Here we go. Fidelity's prediction for Bitcoin. We have Jurrien Timmer, the director of global macro at the $4.5 trillion asset management giant, put forth the notion that Bitcoin has the potential to reach a value of $1 billion per coin in roughly 2 decades, which is now, I think, 14 more years from now, from the time he says 2038. Yep, 14 more years, fam. Specifically around the year 2038. And to support the forecast, Timmer employed a combination of models and charts with a particular focus on the stock to flow and his own demand model. These analytical tools form the foundation of his primary prediction. And here you can see the Bitcoin supply and demand models. Now, the above demand model employs Metcalfe's law. And according to this, the number of its users grows linearly. A network's value, or by interference of the Bitcoin price, grows geometrically. This means that the utility and the adoption of Bitcoin are expected to grow more rapidly compared to its network of users, exchanges, ATMs, and participating retailers. Therefore, this model predicted that Bitcoin will reach 1 million per coin by 2030, which is pretty much in alignment with ARK Invest CEO, Cathie Wood. She says Bitcoin can reach a base case of 600,000 per coin, or 1 to 1.5 million in her bullish case, which we have covered here in the pod. Now, in contrast, Timmer's stock to flow supply model notes the event of significant price surges during each halving event. Consequently, when considering this model in conjunction with other factors, it foresees a price range of 1 million to 10 million per coin for Bitcoin by the year 2030, so even more bullish than the stock to flow. Timmer's demand model is more inclined towards reflecting the bottom of the Bitcoin price action. On the other hand, the stock to flow model seems to provide a better approximation for the peak of the king coin. However, it's worth noting that the disparity between these two models widens significantly beyond the year 2030. That's when things get interesting. The reason behind this gap is expected to be the changing value of the dollar. Precisely. So how changes in the dollar value could influence Bitcoin? Let's discuss it. Timmer proposes that the value of the dollar undergoes fluctuations over time when compared to other assets. For instance, if $1 was invested in stocks during the 18th century, its present-day value would be almost $4 billion. Similarly, Timmer applied that if just $1 million is invested today, it can grow to $1 billion in a span of 20 years. Can you say hyperinflation? This further revealed that the purchasing power of the dollar has significantly reduced due to factors like inflation and depreciation. Thus, Timmer's statement implied that keeping a fixed amount of dollars for many years may lead to reduced purchasing power due to the assets changing value. Now, over the last few years, an increasing number of companies are taking over the 1 trillion market cap. In fact, Bitcoin's now on the cusp of reclaiming that 1 trillion market cap, surpassing companies like Berkshire Hathaway, Meta, etc. As a result, it's foreseeable that in 20 years, the concept of $1 trillion valuation will become more common, so much that individuals themselves could be worth $1 trillion or more. The scale of numbers may even reach quadrillion range. That's right. Run the math. Anyone holding 1 million Bitcoin, when Bitcoin hits $1 million per coin, they're going to become the first trillionaire. So hypothetically speaking, Satoshi holds 1.1 million in his wallets. So Satoshi will be a trillionaire. If Bitcoin, or I should say if Max Kaiser is really holding on to 1 million Bitcoin as some claim, then Max may become a trillionaire. MicroStrategy's goal is to hold 1 million Bitcoin. They're currently sitting on 200,000 Bitcoin. If they can reach their goal, then MicroStrategy will be worth over $1 trillion. And you already know Michael Saylor's loving it. So is this milestone still achievable for Bitcoin? Let's discuss it. Despite Bitcoin's historical growth, it has recently faced significant setbacks. Bitcoin's network activity has diminished, and it has fallen behind in comparison to Cardano network. For example, the number of active addresses in the Bitcoin market experienced a notable decline when compared to the levels seen in 2021. However, over the past couple of years, the addresses have been climbing in the Bitcoin network, reaching new all-time highs. Important to point out, hyper-network activity, like increased transaction volume or active addresses, is viewed as a positive indicator of the growing adoption of Bitcoin, which continues to grow. Now, what are your thoughts on Timmer's $1 billion Bitcoin price prediction by the year 2038? Let me know in the comments right down below. Personally, I do feel the dollar will eventually say adios, amigos. I am out, and go to zero against Bitcoin. But clearly, they're going to replace the US dollar with CBDCs, which we all see coming down the pipeline. By what year will this be rolled out across the world? I don't know, but it's already in the pilot stages in many countries. It's already rolled out in China and other places of the world. I do know they're planning on using XRP, which is a bridge currency, to implement their CBDCs. So do you think CBDCs will take over potentially by the year 2025? Or do you think they'll need many more years to get this in the pipeline? How do you think the adoption will be worldwide? Do you think people will want to do this and not know any better? Or do you think they'll be enlightened by then and say, hey, no thank you, CBDC. I'll stick with my BTC and my self-custody? Because think of it this way. Who wants programmable money with an expiration date? So for example, here's your stimulus. You have 6 months to spend it. And if you don't, it goes to zero. Oh yeah. And if your social credit score is below XYZ score level, you're not going to be able to travel. You can only spend it on this, that, or that. And guess what? You're not allowed to buy Bitcoin with our CBDC. They can program all of that. So if you don't trust the dollar, you should not trust the CBDC, because it's taken it to a whole new level of control and tyranny at the end of the day. So yes, the dollar will hyperinflate. There's no telling what Bitcoin's value will be in the year 2038. That's 14 years from now. It all depends upon the status of the dollar. So theoretically, he is right. Can Bitcoin really hit $1 billion per coin? Yes, but there's going to be hyperinflation. So $1 billion in the year 2038 may be like $10 million in today's money. So let that sink in. Let me know your thoughts, and I'm going to read some more of your comments out loud.